Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different because I'm not going to be talking about specifically about business. Some of the things I'm going to talk about today are things that are you can apply to business. Definitely, I apply in my own, but I'm going to be telling you the story of how I got my $120,000 per year job. I got that job when I was only 25 years old, and the principles that I apply to get that job are the same principles that I apply when in my business, and the same ones that I teach my coaches as well to apply in theirs. So it's just a story time. It's gonna be different from all the other videos that I do on my channel. So if you don't like stories and if you just want, things that you want to implement in your business, then go watch the other videos. I'm gonna leave some here that I recommend. If you want to learn exactly how I did this when I was only 25, then let's get right into it. But because I do like structure, I do have three main takeaways that I want you to get from this story time. So as we go through them, I'm gonna just point them out so you know exactly what they are. Okay, so now let's really get into it. Okay, for those that don't know, I'm Portuguese. I was born in Portugal, but my parents are African, right? So my mom is from Angola, my dad is from Guinea-Bissau, and since a very young age, I always had the desire to work in Africa. I always had I'm gonna say it's like almost a guilt because you know how the propaganda works in the West. They not always show how things are really in the ground. So when we talked about Africa, when we talked about Angola, Guinea-Bissau, or any other African country, as a young girl, I always saw poverty, people dying, And growing up, I kind of felt this guilt of, oh, I made it out. My parents fought hard and I'm here and I'm able to just, have a more comfortable life. So in my life I have to go back somehow to work there and give back, right? So that was my thought process. But then me being me, I never, here's my thing, never aim low, always aim high. And this is what my first takeaway is. So for example, I instead of the way people think is that, okay, I want to get to this goal, so to get to this goal I'm going to go into little steps by steps to get here, which is it's actually what you want to do. But I wanted to work for the biggest organization that work with international help, international humanitarian help, right? So that is the UN, right? I really wanted to work for the UN because I'm like, I want to work with the best of the best. So people sometimes when they think, okay, I want to work with the UN, so let me first join a small NGO, work my way into the UN. My way of thinking is, no, I want to work for the UN. So, UN, definitely they have internships. So let me start at the entry level. I don't care if I'm going to be cleaning floors. Really don't care. The important thing is that I'm going to start already in the organization that I want to work with. So, for example, if you want to work for NASA, I mean, freaking aim to work at NASA, like even if it's just cleaning their floors or just answering or just go being the mail guy, doesn't matter, right? My way of thinking is if I want to be up here, I'm gonna start being in the bottom of that organization, right? I'm not gonna start with another one and then work my way up and it's gonna be a mess. Let's aim for the start. So the very first thing I want you to understand, and even if you're in business, if you let's say that you're not looking for a job, if you're in business I always aim high, like always. So for example, there's some of us that are, we're entrepreneurs, we provide a service. If you provide a service to another business, a lot of entrepreneurs, what they do, they try to go to the small and medium-sized business. No one goes to the Fortune 500. No one. What happens is then, because no one goes there, if you start contacting the Fortune 500, you're going to see a lot of people, a lot of them hitting you back and actually giving you opportunities because no one is hitting them up. It's like green field right there because everyone thinks, oh my God, it's the Fortune 500. We're not supposed to contact them. You'll be very surprised. So always aim high because a lot of people don't, and a lot of people just want to, stay here in the comfortable zone. So if you go up there, things are going to happen. And I promise you, and I have the story to tell because it did help. Okay, so with that in mind, I was around 20 years old because I always had in mind that I wanted to go to Africa and work. But mind you, I had never been in Africa. That's the weirdest thing, right? Because I was born in Portugal. I grew up here. Then I grew up in the States, and then I went to London to do my bachelor's, my college. And at that point, I was 20 years old, 21 years old, and I had never been to Africa. My parents, my mom specifically, she never wanted me to go because she thought it was going to be a big culture shock. So I never went, right? So but I always had this passion within me. So I thought, when I was 20 years old, I said, okay, I was already like 2 years in college, and I put some money together, and I said, okay, I have to go to do a volunteer job in anywhere in Africa. I don't care, but I want to go because I've never been there. I want to see if what I feel inside of me, it's really real. So yeah, so I put some money together. I ended up joining this. I even forgot the name of the organization that I went. I ended up signing up with them. Oh, I had to pay for my accommodation, for my flights. They only provided me with a volunteer thing that I was going to be doing, right? Okay, so the country that I chose to go was Kenya. I chose to go to Kenya because it was the cheapest one, it was the cheapest program that they offered. So I had to pay like 300 and something for a month. I stayed there for a whole month. So I had to pay a 300 and something dollars for accommodation and for like one meal for that whole month. And then I had to pay for my flights. By mind you, I was in London studying, right? So I didn't have, and I was studying and I was working to pay my rent. So I didn't have that much money. So I still asked my mom to help me out with the tickets. So, and she did. So, you know, there I was in London. I applied, they accepted me, and there I went for during the summer for 1 month. I went to Kenya. Let me tell you, I'm going to put some pictures here. My feeling when I arrived in Kenya and when I started working there, volunteering, it was exactly, if not even more, what I expected. You know, if you're a Black person, you know what I mean. You know, maybe you'll understand me, but, you know, being in Portugal and living in the US and living in London is not primarily a Black country, right? But there was something different when I arrived in Kenya. Everyone around me was Black. I did not stand out, right? I was just, you know, I was just one of them. You know, they will just notice that I'm different, that I'm not from there when I open my mouth. Yes, maybe because of the way I dress a little bit, and there's some features that is different from theirs, but I just belonged. I felt like I belonged. I felt weirdly, I was home. And that 1 month I was there volunteering and seeing the reality. I worked, I'm going to put the pictures here. I worked in Kibera, which is one of the biggest slums in Africa. I met some amazing people with amazing hearts, that all they want to do is just be happy. And that just fortified my belief of, oh my God, I need to work for the biggest organization that is out there to support these people. So yeah, so I went to Kenya. It was amazing. I came back to London because I was still, you know, I was on my second year of university. But then when I came back, I was starting my third. In London, we had 4 years of undergrad. So, okay, so we continue with the aim high, right? So I'm already thinking UN. And something that I know, I don't know where I learned this, but something that I always have in the back of my mind is not what you know, is who you know. Literally, it's 60% about who you know and 40 about, you know, what you know, right? So what I did, the very first thing I did, you know, I'm aiming for the UN, right? So I sat down, I wrote down my skills, right? Whatever they were, I just wrote them down and see how can that benefit the other person. And when I say benefit the other person, benefit your other organization, right? Right now I work in marketing, right? And this makes so much sense now. And it's funny that I had that belief even beforehand. When you're applying for a job, you have to put yourself in a position of the people that are going to hire you, you know, even if it's just a job or for a consultancy or for whatever it is. How is your skills going to benefit them? How are the things that you know, your profile going to benefit them and the work that they're doing? So that's the second little takeaway. Make sure that you understand how your skills, you draw out your best skills and how that's going to complement them. So I wrote down my skills. So one of them was the fact that I had already been in Africa, right? So I know the reality. I had already worked and lived. Actually, I lived very close to Kibera, like the slum. So I worked and lived in really crazy, you know, situations. So I'm used to adversity. I adapt easily. So working for the UN, you can send me anywhere you want. I'll be cool. Second, I was applying to be, not applying, sorry. I was just writing down my skills, right? I was studying to be a nutritionist. So I have nutritionist, you know, in terms of my skills, I'm going to be a nutritionist. And also, I speak languages. So I speak Portuguese, I speak French, I speak Spanish, and I also speak English. So all of those 4 things, you know, being with the UN, thinking, okay, I'm going to work for the UN. I want to work for the UN. That's definitely going to, you know, help them rank me a little bit higher, right? Okay, so after I wrote down my skills and wrote this big list of little things that I thought that, okay, those are things that are going to help them see how I'm valuable for their organization and help their cause, their thing, right? It's always about the other person, it's never about you. Like in other videos that I do about business and marketing, it's always the way you market and position yourself is the most important thing, right? It's how people perceive you, how they're going to welcome you to their world. So even if you're in business, always think about how are you going to be of a support to the other person's goals, right? So that's about positioning. Hey, sorry for interrupting you watching, but I'm just editing the video here, and I just realized that if you start a business, if you're starting a business, and if you want to know how to grow an audience that not only is a fan and attracted to your services, but also an audience that converts into a client, then I have something that might be interesting to you, because I have a training that's called the Audience Building Secrets. That is a training that I go into really detail how to attract, nurture, and convert people into paying customers. So if you want to learn, I'll leave the link down below so you can go and watch the training, but watch it after you watch this video. So that was the only message I had for you. And now back to the little video. Let's go. So I wrote all of that down and I said, okay, so this is my skills. Now, because the UN is the UN. The UN is in, I don't know how many countries, 100 plus countries. They go in countries that they speak so many other languages. So then I had to match my skills to the countries and programs that they support. So I went to the UN website and I clicked in every single country that I thought that I could be of help. And the skill that I ranked higher was my languages. So I knew that Spanish, Portuguese, French were going to be something that were going to help me a lot. So what I did is I went to, for example, countries in Africa that spoke Portuguese, Spanish. So for example, Mozambique, Angola, Saint Tome, Guinea, Cape Verde. So those are the countries that I was aiming to go. And also with the Spanish, Guinea Equatorial. And then with the French, there's so many Francophone countries, Senegal, Niger, Chad. So, I made a list of the countries that had that I could position myself as a good asset to have, right? And, but always under the umbrella of nutrition, because I was studying to be a nutritionist, and malnutrition and undernutrition, overnutrition is starting to be a problem there as well. It's something that is actually a big problem in these African countries. So I under all that umbrella. So I'm a nutritionist, right? I'm studying to be a nutritionist that speaks all of these languages, that has been to the continent, and it's used to adapt, right? So those are the things that I highlighted. So then naturally I went to the UN website and they have an internship program. I applied for it. I applied, I sent everything, and there, after I applied, I waited a whole of 2 weeks. The thing is that the application was not that they were looking for, an intern. It's just like a roster kind of thing, right? And, you just apply, it's a roster, and then if a program manager remembers that roster exists, they go there, they kind of look at the application, say maybe they call you. Me being me, and I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to wait for no one to be contacting me. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. What are you guys waiting for? I'm right here. Again, I think takeaway number 3, I think we're number 3, right? Number 3 is like, believe in yourself like no one else believes. Like, I really thought, like, you guys are losing an opportunity here. This is someone that can help you with your goals. Like, I speak Portuguese. That's the only little thing that I could. But I honestly, and I wanted to work there so much that I honestly believe that I'm an asset. Like, no one is going to root for you guys more than I will. Funny how things turn out, but okay. So I waited like 2 weeks. No one answered. So what I did, because again, think about what everyone is doing, and that will highlight what everyone is not doing. So, because when you apply for the position to be on this roster, they give you this roster number. Sorry, there's construction going on, in the bottom, like in the level below my house. So, because when you apply, they give you this application number, right? So you have your candidate number. So then, what I did then, I said, okay, I applied. No one is contacting me. What is happening? So I decided to go back to the website, to every single of those countries. They have the director's email address. Now let me tell you this: the director of the UN of those is a country representative, right? That's the country representative. People don't just go start emailing them. That's weird, right? But no one does. That's why if you do it, you stand out, right? So what I did is I shortlist all those countries, like I think it was like 19 of them, Senegal, Niger, Mozambique, Angola, Guinea-Bissau. I wrote, I kind of put in the list all of the country's director's email address. He's a country representative. He's like the same thing almost as a deputy. Is like, I know, it's very high level, right? No one contacts them. But there I was. I didn't want to stop at nothing. Like that was my goal, to work for the UN, and that was it, right? So I did a list of all of those, right? And then I started writing them an email. I said, okay, hey, Fernando, I don't know, Hey Fernando, my name is Sali. I'm so I still have the email, of course, but I started out by saying, what I do. No, sorry, I started out by saying exactly that. I love the UN. I think they're an amazing organization, and here I applied to be. Here's my what do you call it? Here's my candidate number. And I think I would be a good asset for your country because you have this program, and I've been to Kenya and I've seen something similar, and I speak Portuguese. So for the Portuguese speaking countries, I would say that. For the French speaking countries, I would say that. So I would customize the email to fit their needs, their goals, right? So yeah, so I did that. I sent all 19 emails, um, and no one wrote me back but one. That's all I needed. I'm gonna cry because this is something that completely separated. It changed my life, right? I made that decision to believe in myself, to aim high, and I don't care because what's the worst thing that will happen, right? All those other country directors, they don't even remember it. Maybe they saw my email, they maybe deleted it, and that's it. What's the worst that could happen when you send an email? People either respond you back with the positive or respond back with negative or just ignore. So that was my way of thinking. And if you have a business, think the same way. If you approach another business, what's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. Okay, big deal. But they could say yes. So what happened was, and also I'm going to talk about this extensively as well, is that I emailed the country director, and the country director then forward the email to the program manager, and the program manager forward the email to then the nutritionist for the nutrition department, right? The cool thing about aiming high and contacting the superiors is that they're like CEOs, they're like the top guys, right? They're not going to answer you directly. They go forward the email. But because the email came from high up to the program manager, now she has to pay attention. Because it's not, for example, if I had emailed the program manager directly, she could have ignored my email. But the email came from the high level. She cannot ignore that email. So she forwarded to the nutrition department, the person that was in the head of the nutrition department. The nutrition department, she could not ignore that email because it came from her boss, that came from the boss's boss, right? So you see, when you aim high, usually this people, they're directors, they just forward emails, just kind of, okay, this is you, this is for you. But because it comes from them, because the email comes from them, they cannot ignore. So that's why even there's people that send emails directly to HR. I'm like, nah, I want to send to the HR's boss, right? The head, the CEO, because those are the ones that have the power. So she forwarded my email. Her name is Lola. She's amazing. She doesn't even know how I respect her, how much I love everything that she just by forwarding that email. She doesn't even know. But yes. So she forwarded the email, and the head of the nutrition department then contacted me and said, "Hey Sally, we received your email, and we would like to invite you and employ you as an intern." I'm gonna cry. This is so stupid, but I know I titled this video, it's all about the money, but it was not about the money. That's a way for you to click on this video and watch it. But it was about me getting my dream job, and that was my dream job. I got the internship. I flew to Mozambique. That was in Mozambique. I'm going to put some pictures here of how it started out and everything when I was there. I did the internship. It was like 5 or 6 months of internship. After the internship, they offered me a job. It was not 120,000 per year. I got my 120,000 per year 4 years after that. So I kept producing and being good and producing results and good being a good employee, and I kept ranking high and have other opportunities. Then I flew, because I worked for the UN, I flew for all over the continent. I truly was living my dream job, because I was in Mozambique, I went to South Africa, Lesotho, Congo, Ethiopia, Chad, Niger. I was all over the continent, and then yes, I know this video was about, hey, how I got my amazing job that paid me almost millions, but it was about getting that goal, getting to my dream thing that I really wanted to get. I left the organization. If you want me to do a video about that, leave in the comments below if you want me to tell you exactly why I left it and why I'm now doing internship and entrepreneurship and why I do mostly a business. But that's something separate. But I still love the fact that it's all about positioning. So if I go through, I wrote it down actually. If you go through the 3 takeaways is, please aim high. If you want to work at NASA, aim for NASA, like start at NASA, cleaning the force, doesn't matter. You start from the bottom at the top where you want to be. Second, highlight your skills. Understand, do you have skills that position yourself as an asset to the person, to that organization? So make sure that you highlight them and personalize them to the people, to the department that you're going to be working with. That's second. Third, don't be afraid to go to the top people in that organization. I went to the directors, the person that represents the UN there. I mean, I don't care. What's the worst that will happen? They'll say no. Boo-hoo. You know, the no. In Portuguese, we say o não tá garantido. So the no is 100% guaranteed. You have the no already. So just shoot for the stars. So yeah, so if you like this video, let me know by liking. Click the like button. So let me know that you like this type of things. If you want more story times of the things that I've done in the past as well, that actually helps as well with business, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.